wise people directed her to the Buddha. And the Buddha said, if you get me a few things, and just one thing, something that was quite easily available during the Buddha's time, or even now in India, mustard seeds. Get me some mustard seeds. I will try to fulfill your wish. She thought, okay, that is easily available. Let me give it a go. She was so happy. She transformed completely, immediately, changed. But before, so she put the toddler on the floor in front of the Buddha, and before she left, the Buddha gave one condition, just one condition. You need to bring the mustard seeds from a household that has never experienced death. Kisam gedaraking කිසිම ගෙදරක මරණයක් අත් නොවිඳපු ගෙදරකින් තමයි ඒ අබෑට ගේන්න ඕන කියලා. It has to come from a house that has never experienced death or a person. Okay, it's a large city. Surely there'll be one person or one house who has not or which had not experienced death. First house got some mustard seeds upon request. And then remember the condition. Has someone passed away in this house? And then this lady said, oh, more have passed than those are living in this house. So started recollecting few relationships from great-grandparents onwards. The next, then I can't make use of these mustard seeds. Handed them back. It was just a handful of mustard seeds, not much. And continuously this was happening. The next house, someone died. Next house, someone died. Next house, could be even a pet. Someone was, or something was, recollected. And slowly, Kisa Gautami began to realize, actually, this is not just happening to me. Because most of the time, at the moment of death, we still do that. We may do that. We victimize ourselves. Why my family? Why my friend? So you make the relationships. We feel victimized. Why has death taken? And this is what we cannot cope sometimes. We cannot actually realize that we feel, we make it personal. The Buddha wanted actually her to not make it personal. Because as I said earlier, we have plenty of deaths on telly. We see every day, we hear so many deaths every day. Yet we don't feel sad. We feel sad, but we don't feel as much as when it happens to someone that you are connected to. Then we feel the alert, we feel the knock, we feel the shock. And this is what the Buddha is trying to actually educate Kisa Gautami. The moment you actually personalize that, there is so much suffering. And I know we can't stop it. My father passed away 6 months ago, and I felt the same, and I feel most of you are feeling the same with your friend. We feel the pain, we feel the suffering, but what the Buddha is trying to tell us is that this is something which is part of our life, the nature of our life. When time comes, no one can escape. Nanta likke na samuddamache. You can't be in air, you can't hide in caves, you can't hide under water, you can't hide in your house. When the time comes, it comes. But one thing is sure, you cannot make an appointment with death. You cannot plan when to die. We are planning our lives, but can we plan death. We cannot. We just have to learn how to accept it, that it is part of the change, it is part of that ceasing moment. Upada vaya dhammino, that everything has that nature of change, whether it is a physical small item, whether it is a big palace, whether it is your body, whether it is part of your illness, whether it is, we cannot have will over things. When I say will, we cannot actually decide how to experience the next moment, if I put it simple. I cannot decide how I should feel the next moment. And that's how uncertain life is, and uncertain our reality is in life. And this is that true realization Kisa Gautami had by the time she may have gone to 30, 40 houses, that it was simply a true nature of life, and her toddler was also subject to that change. And she mindfully went to the Buddha and then revealed her understanding, and the Buddha said simple advice. Appamadena sampadeta, the true words. Even Buddha said this even before his last breath. Just be mindful, heedful about this nature of life. We can try to control and work on many things, but we are always subject to change. We are always subject to beyond command. Because we bring one thing with birth, that is death. So you cannot escape neither. Death recognizes no one, no religion, no status. No, death doesn't recognize whether you are a king, queen, pauper, destitute, caste, religion. It's all the same. It recognizes no one. Similarly, the pain that we go through is not a religious pain. It's not Sri Lankan pain. It's not a Buddhist pain. The pain of suffering is felt the same the moment we actually personalize that. And this is what the Buddha wanted us to understand. So, uppajjitva nirujjanti. If you are able to see that everything that arises ceases, tesang upasamosukho, this is where the true peace or happiness or true well-being is. And what I'm trying to convey here is, we rather appreciate the time that you had with Thushara, whether it is 1 year, 4 years, 10 years, odd years. We should learn how to appreciate that rather than resist and disagree with what has taken place. It might be too harsh to say, let us not look at it negatively. Don't overshadow the time, the good memories that you had with the time of loss which you might not prefer. That should be secondary. What you should cherish is the good times that you had with him. And that is why I said gratitude. We start growing in this gratitude. It's not just a couple of letters to build a word. The moment we see this change, that is when we start appreciating life. The moment we see death, it gives this shock, and therefore we then start realizing there is no time for these petty grudges. There is no time for disagreements. There is no time for anger, envy, jealousy. Wasting our time in life. There's no time with petty differences. The moment we highlight those differences, that means you haven't understood impermanence. You haven't understood or seen death. So essentially, the Buddha is trying to tell us that realizing this impermanence and death is not about being pessimistic. but learning how to appreciate what you already have and who you are with. Because I might not even be able to go back to the temple when I drive. Never know. That's how uncertain life is. You cannot plan your moments. So truly Thushara is telling here is giving us a good lesson. Learn how to be kind to people as much he has been. Learn how to be sociable as much he has been. Maybe be kind to people. Learn how to forgive. Because that is what we take from here, rather than, this is what actually makes a life enjoyable. If you just see life, then you are too optimistic, too hedonistic. If you just see that, you are too pessimistic. There are two sides of a coin. One side gives the value, the other side gives the emblem. We need both for the value of the coin. You cut into half, you will not see it. You scratch the one side, you cannot render that coin. We need both. We need to understand that. We need to understand life. When you understand life, we understand also death. We understand death, we understand life more. And this is what it is. Then we appreciate every moment, every breath you have. You'll be grateful for the people that are there to support you. You'll be grateful for the things that you have. And this is what truly the lessons we learn from the dying. It is a lesson for the living. How we choose to live from now onwards, I'm sure I'm one of them actually think that I have to change. I'll be able to finish this sermon. That's how uncertain life is according to the teachings of the Buddha. So that recollection is actually made on funeral occasions. Anicca-vata sankhara upadavaya dhammino. So when you offer the pansakolika cloth, this is recited, which you might know, and most of you must have heard about it. But the true meaning is being mindful that every moment is in the transition, is fluid. There is nothing that is static. The Buddha went through illnesses. The Buddha also went through illnesses. At one time when he was 80, he was saying, my body is like that cart that has failed its MOT. And that is the reality. We need to understand, because just because the Buddha is lovely presented, that doesn't mean he didn't have a 80-year-old figure. And if you are 80, with your physical sense. And he went through that. He also can't. The Buddha also can't control that. So that is the nature of life. And the Buddha also can't put a stop to that. No one can put stop to that. Take any leaders of other religions, they all also passed away. There is nothing that is permanent. So when we arise, when we live, one try to take it from that point of view, that this is a moment of that contemplation or meditation on that. I remind you that the suffering is normal. I cannot command here or tell you that that is natural, because when we personalize that, we feel the shock and change. But in the Sala Sutta, the Buddha says, a wise person, as soon as when sorrow arises within oneself, will be able to pluck out, as if the arrow hits the dart, or the body, you pluck it out, and perhaps blow it like a tuft of cotton. Learn how to actually, when sorrow comes, when you feel sad, put on those glasses of impermanence, try to see the world. Actually, everyone goes through this. Thushara has gone through this. Maybe I'm also going through this sometime, which I cannot predict. So no one can save. So the Buddha said, neither a son can save his father, neither a father his son. So I'm using this male language because that is how it is in the suttas. So neither a parent can save a child, neither a child can save the parent. When time they say our goodbyes. But what we take with us is what we have done in this world when we have lived. Rupang jiriti machanang nam gotang na jiriti. As I said, what remains is the service someone does. What remains is the name and fame that a person has brought by good deeds. The body is subject to decay and change. So Thushara has truly done so. When I was reflecting earlier in the Mangala Sutta and trying to see which ones are quite relevant to Thushara. And there were so many tick boxes I was trying to say, but I didn't make that my focus of sermon today. And you can see that, from respecting each other, from actually looking after parents, from looking after, spouse and children, and so the community, I can come with a list of things. And I'm sure we all know that he has done good deeds. And this is what he has taken. But he has told us, or he's showing us, look, this is the way you also might go one day. So don't engage in unnecessary things. Try to do good things. Be honest. Be kind. And have a compassionate mindset. Always have an open heart. Help each other. And this is what Thushara did as best as possible. And I know he has done it. And this is the karma that he has taken. And I'm sure this will be there for him. As Buddhists, we believe in rebirth. And that is what actually brings plane of existence that you're born into. And it is only the good energy that actually passes on. So as you light a candle, you might light another one. So as the flame goes, the conditions of our life also change. It could be a better candle or a worse candle, but the karmic forces will obviously bring good lives if there are lots of good deeds. So we believe he may be in a good state